Let's talk about Dreamweaver, and let's talk about the latest version, Dreamweaver CS5. If you'll notice, I'm on a Macintosh. Now, I don't want any screaming and wailing and gnashing of teeth from all the Windows users that are out there. The good thing about Adobe, and that's why I love their programs, is they work their fingers to the bone to make sure the interfaces are basically the same. And as a teacher, that's got to have been the best thing that's ever happened in terms of trying to teach, because there's Mac people, there's Windows people, there's all kinds of people out there. Don't worry about that. I'm going to open up Dreamweaver by using the shortcut that I have installed down here. However you do it, you want to open up Dreamweaver. So we're going to get it right here and click it. It's cute, it bounces, that's nice. If you don't know how to open the program up, please send me an email, I'll tell you. Over here, the welcome screen welcomes us with the ability to open up recent items or to start something new. I'm just going to click right here and create a new HTML document. There you go. We are now looking at the classic mode. See this button right here? I want you to click that button and go to Classic. Classic mode is what you see in terms of the interface. So when I say, I want you to come over here and click on Files, you're going to know where to click. We'll all be on the same page. Let's start out with a couple of rules. I'm a big believer in rules and guidelines in my classes. At university, without rules and guidelines, there is utter chaos and pandemonium. Rule number 1, I'm the teacher. I like that one. I am the supreme dictator of this lesson series. In other words, I have experience and I want to share it with you. Rule number 2 doesn't override rule number 1, but it helps explain it a little bit better. Rule number 2, this is a creative program. Listen to me with an open mind and understand that I'm giving you my slant on things, but never be afraid, I know you're not, but never be afraid to put your own slant on what we're doing. For example, there's got to be at least 6 ways to change text in this program. I can type it right on the screen. I can change it in a WYSIWYG mode, just like you do in Microsoft Word. I can go to the code view and change it there. I can do it from the pull-down menu. I can do it from the properties panel. I can change it through CSS. There are a million ways to do anything. Every time I add text to the screen, if I showed you every possible way to do it, we'd never get out of lesson 1, would we? The idea is put your slant on this. By the end of this lesson series, you are going to go from being the student to being the master. Rule number 3, this is the last one. The ultimate success of working in Dreamweaver has a lot to do with what you do, but the ultimate success is the user experience. We have all been on the internet. We've all seen those really, really, really bad sites. Don't be one of those site designers. Not if you're taking my lessons, all right? I want you to understand it's about the user experience. You will never have anybody actually email you and say something like this. Well, you know, I really like that spry element you dropped in, and the way you use that CSS to consolidate your pages, Andy, that was just pure genius. No, they're going to email you and say, hey, dude, I liked your site. That's all they're going to say. You might get some people that are into the code. Most people, this is an experience like reading a magazine. You don't call the editor of a magazine and say you like the way they use their Heidelberg press to produce the print. You say, I like the article. The ultimate success of Dreamweaver is in the final product and the user experience. Never forget that. Now, with that said, let's look at what we have here. We're in the classic environment. Up here, you have an area where you have a lot of little buttons and tabs, different ways that we can populate our web pages with stuff, forms, common layouts, div statements, tables, whatever we do. And we'll work with these as the lessons progress. This is our main working body area. And we have a plain tabula rasa, blank slate kind of document. This is WYSIWYG mode. So I can come up here and I can type text all day long. Now, this is not really how we're going to do it, but we do have some text up there. If I did save this page, indeed, it would publish and look just like what you see. If you're like me and you do like to work with the HTML, this program is fully functional in any area that you want to work in. These 3 buttons up here, we are in design mode right now. You want the code, click this button right here. I started out more years ago than I want to remember in BB Edit, just text editing. The only way I could tell if my page worked good is I would load it into an existing browser. Those were simpler times. But if you still had that yearning to go into the code, remember, this class is not about HTML. It's about Dreamweaver and how it works. You can go out to the Infinite Skills site and get all kinds of really good stuff on working in HTML. But the ability is there if you want to use it. You split the screen right here. You've got the text over here, the way it would look on the page, and the code over here. You can change it in either space, or where we're going to be working quite a bit is right there in the design mode. Over here, we have the floating panels that exist in the classic mode. And again, we'll work through these as the lessons progress. and then the Properties panel down here, which actually gives you information about what you have selected in the design window up here. You've got a tag button here that I love because it gives you the ability to do some quick tag editing. You've got buttons over here on things like the zoom, the size of the screen, the download based on some defaults that we'll talk about, and the type of code that you're using. All this comprises the Dreamweaver interface, and by the end of all of these lessons, you are going to be very familiar with this system.